Hello, what's up? Welcome, guys. We have again another deck tech here for the Pauper format as we continue to explore again the metagame of this very popular, especially in Manila, in their major tournaments being held there. And hopefully, we can still have this one version to us here in Iloilo City, but maybe not in this kind of uh, range of sets, maybe in the current standard or pioneer. Let's see what we can come up with. But for now, let's continue to check on some of the top performing decks. And this one, I got this deck which they call as the Gates from the one of the recent MTG Online Super Qualifier tournaments. So the deck name would refer to as basically having a lot of the land type gates in the deck. So what the benefits is that it goes with playing more of these lands and also benefiting all of these additional effects that is added here. Like for example, creating these treasure tokens. We have also having the pump effects. Number of gates you control gets to have +X to target creature you control, or that would also have this kinds of setup for these cards. So this deck would probably categorized under the control setup. As you can see here, we have some solid counter spells and also some card effects to make sure that you can have a good late game card value, and also some enchantment spot removals such as Journey to Nowhere. And you can see here the creatures would only having with the 12 creatures line up. We'll just go with just pinching off damage or make sure that you can defend the ground. So let's do a quick rundown. We have Sacred Cat, which can go with a 1/1 for 1 and can be a bomb for 1. And with the lifelink effect would be really beneficial, since you can see here we have a lot of definite, especially the Basilisk Gate, would make sure that this creature would get to pump to as large as possible, and also the lifelink effect would get you to have a damage raise advantage. So we have 4 copies of this in the deck of the Sacred Cat. We have 2 copies of Outlaw Medic. This is from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, common. It is just a 2 cost 1/3 that's lifelink, but when it dies you will draw a card. Of course, Squadron Hawk, as mentioned earlier, can pinch off early damage and can also get you to search for up to 3 cards with the same name. And again, combo with the pump effect of the gate, you can have this one as an evasive damage dealer in the late game. And 2 copies of Guardian of the Guild Pack. This goes with the blocking monocolored creatures, since it has protection from monocolored and also can be targeted by monocolored spells. And for the lineup, we can see here the enchantments. We have copies of Journey to Nowhere, so your spot removal, that's 3 in the count, and 4 copies of Modern Age, which lets you to also filter out card effects to your hand, and also have this one transform into a 2/3 flyer, which is the Vector Glider, an enchantment creature spirit. Now for the instance, aside from the counter spell here with the namesake, we have a copy of Spell Pierce, which can also counter non-creature spells unless they pay 2. A copy of the spell that can counter instant spell. And Brainstorm, of course, since deck will mostly go with the card draws and the counter spells, then Brainstorm would be the best card to have here in the deck to get you to necessary cards at certain situations. In addition to that support, of course, we have Preordain and Lothian Revealed, which can be used for island cycling, but later on hardcast for drawing 3 cards in the process. So that is 7 sorceries. And the last instant that are worth to mention here would be Preventing of Damage, Prismatic Strands, just using the choice of color that would deal this turn would be prevented, and also get you the benefit of a flashback effect to just flashback this one by tapping an untapped white creature you control. Now, checking on the lands, as you can see, aside from the usual benefit of the Basilisk Gate, we have the mana fix in the form of the Citadel Gate. That's 4 copies. It's also named blue, or the mana of the chosen color. we have a copy of Glacial Floodplain, which is a snow-loud plain island, which can also be used for tapping white or blue mana. A copy of Heapgate that can also get you to create treasure tokens. 3 islands in the 4 copies of Seagate, which can go with adding blue mana or the mana of chosen color as it enters the battlefield. So what benefit of this, and having also mana fix with the Gate, then you can just have a way to draw into your Basilisk Gate to make sure that you can have this one and a lot of gates in your battlefield to have your creatures pump by this effect. And of course, in that certain situations, you would also need to have a clear attack or an opening to your opponent so that you can deal a huge chunk or damage and maybe win for a few attacks after that. So that would be your main deck. So that's 21 lands, 7 sorceries, 13 instants, 7 enchantments and dual creatures to a total of 60. And for the quick rundown of the sideboard, again, the player has chosen this one to be more color specific, to be targeting most of the best decks in the Pauper format, for instance. So for example, we used to go with the mono red or red based matchup, then you would need this card of the blue elemental blast to counter their spell and destroy a red permanent. And also, in addition, also is a Hydroblast, that's 4 copies with its same function of countering red spells and destroying permanents that is red. In addition, also, if you're going against the blue or maybe the blue based decks, then you would need Pyroblast in the sideboard. That's 4 copies of this card. It can counter target spell if it's blue or destroy target permanent if it's blue. Now for graveyard shenanigans, we have a copy of Relic Progenitus that can exile cards in the graveyard or just pay 1 to exile all cards in all graveyards and also gets you to draw a card. And also a copy of Ring Pain, which can also deal with prevention effects. For example, we have Fab effects. You can use this one to have an effect that damage can be prevented this turn, so they would have their fog effects useless and can also be flushed back for 1 red mana. And the last copy is the 4 copies of Dust to Dust, which is also going with the affinity based or the artifact based matchup, which can also remove 2 target artifacts from the game and mostly involve removing a definite or a target creature and maybe removing one or more of their artifact lands in the process. So that maybe if this deck line up on the sideboard, let's check on the mana curve. It's very low in the process. That's average of 2.05. Color distribution is mostly blue with white as 18, but blue is 28, and the producer is pretty much even. As you can see here, they won't really have an issue in fixing your mana for that one. And in case you wonder that Pyroblast is red, you can still see here that we have a card that gets you to produce treasure tokens. That is the Heapgate to add to your deck to be able for you to produce that needed color. And so that's pretty much it. I think we have the second cat emblem or the emblem version or the token and the treasure token as your extras in this deck. That is your gates or maybe a gates control setup for your Pauper deck tech or deck feature for this video coming from the MTGO Super Qualifier. So if you like this one or you have a similar deck played in your daily grinds in MTG Online, just let me know in the comments below so we can have a good discussion as to what this deck would perform if we have more options now with the release of Modern Horizons 3. Maybe I think a lot of comments there would also help you out in having this deck archetype upgraded. Just let me know in the comments below as we can have a good setup and discuss these new cards. And again, guys, thank you for checking on this one, your new Gates deck tech for the Pauper format. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and notifications on, and see you guys on the next video.